I'm sorry means 1, I regret what I did, and 2, I will try my absolute hardest to not do it again. Who knew about the second part? Am I right? Hi, I'm Allison, and I grew up with a narcissistic personality disordered mother and a chemically dependent on alcohol father, and my life was oddly unstable and cyclical, patternized in a way that it was very bad, and then it would get love bomby, fake apology, kind of better, only to get really bad again, inevitably. And in times of reconciliation with these fake apologies and yeah, love bombing, that's what I think these fake apologies really are. I would get kind of hopeful as a child, but deep down know that it wasn't gonna last. It's pretty sad. Before going into talking about narcissistic apologies, briefly about alcoholic apologies, and then how we were affected, I want to say I think this topic ties really well with my topic that I talked about last week, which is narcissistic fleas. Because past life Allison would act out in some maladaptive learned way and almost instantly regret it and apologize as sincerely as I knew how, but then go forward not changing my behavior, like acting out again, because I truly didn't get this part of the puzzle, like what an apology meant. I grew up learning that it was something to say when you wanted to make amends and move forward. Just move forward, not move forward actually changing the way things are. So first, let's talk about narcissistic apologies. If there's an apology at all, it may sound something like, I'm sorry that you feel that way. I'm sorry for whatever you think I did. I'm sorry, but you blah 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 blah. Or it's said in a tone that devalues the apology, like, well, I'm sorry. That was the case for me. It's not true remorse. It's manipulation. It's a way to get back on your good side, make amends, and move forward. They may, by they I mean a narcissistic person. I am trying really hard to not say the narcissist and objectify a human being. They may very well feel regret, but because they're so self-absorbed and they lack empathy, the ability to see something from another point of view, from someone who feels that they've been wronged by another person, their self-absorption makes it so that they feel like the victim in all scenarios, no matter what. All of this combined makes it so that they can't truly feel sorry for another person, like feel sorry for something that they may have done. Again, their sorry is to get back on your good side. And my golden nugget of wisdom for you today is to trust action over intention. Trust what someone does over what they say they're going to do. Trust patterns of behavior. So if someone does something once, twice, like, ooh, 3 times, it's a pattern. And if they say they're sorry, but their behavior's patternized, you know, in a patterned way, shows that they're not, like, maybe they do it once more, that's a fluke, okay, twice more, 3 times, like, it's a pattern. They are not actually going about changing their behavior. Action over intention. Fake apology. I only briefly want to talk about alcoholic apologies because my alcoholic parent was also the dependent, enabling parent to my narcissistic parent. Not my core wound. I think his heart is in the right place, whereas, you know, some of yours may not be. So, from that brief explanation of my experience with an alcoholic parent, I think he was truly remorseful for his behaviors as well as regretful, because they're very different things. My mom wasn't remorseful, my dad was. And so he would say sorry and I would accept his apology. And most time he would change his behavior for a short amount of time, but then in the long run, the ways of alcoholism would continue the behavior. Most importantly, let's talk about how we were affected. So growing up, our parent enjoys conflict. Wow, look at those lights on my face. I live by a road, so if you ever see funny lights on my face, those are cars. And if you ever hear cars, they're cars. Anyway, growing up, our parents kind of enjoys conflict. They enjoy the adrenaline that brings up within them. They get supply from that. So there's always another crisis, and they are never to blame for the crisis. We are. And we learn to accept the blame and the shame and the guilt and apologize. So I don't know about you, but I learned to just apologize for everything. Things that were no way my fault, things that I didn't need to go forward and change anything about. Like I would just be like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Oftentimes I was told, you're not sorry. And that's gaslighting. That's confusing. Like as a child, I already didn't know what I'm sorry truly meant, and then I was told that I wasn't being sincere when I apologized. Like, whew. And I think it made us unable to trust other people. We blanketed our lessons from our childhood home, family of origin, onto the world around us. And when someone told us they were sorry, we were maybe unable to believe them. And if they just told us anything, we might have been unable to believe them because of the inconsistencies and the intentions we were told with actions to follow in our family of origin. You know, we just lost the ability to take people's word for what it is. We looked for hidden meanings. All of this uncertainty is covered up by fog as we're in these relationships with our parents. So it's really important for you to step outside the fog and then contemplate, what is going on in my life? How do I observe other people? How do I perceive and respond to the world? Because the fog makes everything so confusing. It's like, what am I even doing? What are my intentions? Like, confused. How I encourage you to move forward is to live action over intention. Let your behaviors line up with your words. Live in alignment with your truth. Be integrity, be fidelity, be the stable, loving home that you always craved. I hope that 2019 is treating you so well so far. If it's not, give it time, be patient, trust that all the healing is going to happen. And I'll talk to you next week.